This here is my yard tractor. It used to be an old Craftsman riding mower. Looks kind of odd because it's sitting on unlevel ground. I picked up 2 riding mowers, both with working engines, not very well, and I decided that the one wasn't able to do what I needed it to do. So I started doing customizing. Yes, it looks longer because I extended it. Extending it was relatively simple. Dump bed was hydraulic oil storage tank that I had on hand from the previous tenant. Yeah, as you can see, she's been quite customized. She's beastly looking, but she does do quite a few good things. So to start, I took the mower body off completely because it was useless. It was too broken. The hood did come with the machine and everything, but I decided I was going to custom build my own framework to be able to hook up a come-along to a pulley down to the framework to be able to raise and lower the push blade. The push blade is actually a 100-pound propane tank that I cut up, and I did some welding of extra bars on the end here to give it extra strength along the outer edge. Then I welded on a cutting edge. It's not much of a cutting edge, it's actually rounded, so it doesn't really cut so much as right above. Once I got that done, I went to the back side. I welded on supports on the top and support on the bottom. The bottom is a 2x2, 1/8 inch thick that I welded across. And then I made some pieces out of some scrap angle iron here that I welded to the blade. And as you can see, hopefully you can see, that a bolt holds the blade to this piece, which is welded to the arms, so I can raise and lower using the come-along. Now the reason why the blade is bolted is I want to be able to interchange it with other things. If you notice these 2 brackets here and the welded nut, those are the same width as the back part of this 21-inch snowblower body. The motor was seized and everything else was pretty rough. So what I did was, with the cross plate, I welded the brackets into it to be equivalent to the space from here to there. I welded washers on to give it a bit more metal to wear against. Now the good thing about using a snowblower body is it's already bucket shaped. And what I did do to strengthen it up is here it was all open to catch snow, all open. So I've done some welding on the inside, and I welded a plate to take up that space. I've got a rudimentary cutting edge here to help dig in. Now I also followed the lead of the big commercial buckets. And to help with wear, I've got wear bars that I welded on here and there to help it from wearing out so quick. Now, once I've got the bucket bolted to the arms to raise and lower, I've actually got a bar or steel pipe that goes from this, and it bolts up to a hole I drilled here. And when I activate this lever, it will, the height lever, it will actually tilt the bucket for me. So I can put a fair bit of weight in the bucket, walk or drive around with it, and then when I'm ready to dump, if I raise the arms high enough, I just push this forward and the bucket dumps. Now at the back section, you notice the length. Well, if you look right there, you can see my rough welding job. What I did was I cut the second riding mower roughly at about that point there, where the upper body drops down to the lower section of the frame. I cut that, then I welded that to the back of this mower. That gives me extra length, and yes, I have both axles in. I was hoping to make it a 4x, but unfortunately this axle here chunked out on me. A large piece of it basically exploded and it's useless. And as anybody knows, these rims don't come off these old axles easily. So after some hacking and cutting and everything, I managed to get the tire off. And I will hopefully one day get everything out. But on top of this axle, I welded another pulley to be able to drive a second belt to the back axle. So that's how the back axle drives. Now to shift, I have to create linkage mount to be able to use this shifter to go from reverse to first and all the other gears up. And the way it's configured right now, I usually don't go above third because I'm in the bush with it, and above third gear gets a little fun trying to dodge trees. The dump bed, I used the hinges from a Dodge van, an old Dodge van, to create my pivot point. I welded it to that back plate, and as long as I've got decent distribution of the soil in the bed, it will dump by itself, or dump with minimal fuss. I bolted a handle right here to it, and as you can see, it's not easy, but it will dump. And that's one of the reasons why you need to have good distribution. And this is the beast so far. I'll be setting up hydraulics for the front to be able to do dozer blade, where I can be able to fix it in a position while I'm pushing or carrying dirt. I'll do a video on that when I get everything set up.